top focus story this evening. Cyclone Nivar may cross Tamil Nadu and Puducherry in the southwestern Bay of Bengal coastal areas tomorrow evening. This is what the Weather Office has predicted. There is also a warning that the deep depression has intensified into a cyclonic storm. Prime Minister Modi in a tweet has assured Tamil Nadu and Puducherry all possible support from the centre. The cyclone is likely to arrive with gusting winds up to 120 kilometers per hour. The Met Department tweeted that a deep depression has intensified into a cyclonic storm. Nivar over southwest of Bay of Bengal. Cyclone alert for Tamil Nadu and Puducherry coastal areas has been sounded. Officials are preparing for possible damage like trees being uprooted, power supply disruption, communication lines being snapped and roofs being blown away. Tidal waves, and this is of course a cause of concern, about a meter high are likely to flood the low-lying areas in these coastal areas. So this of course is the big story that we're tracking. My colleague Sam Daniels has been covering the details of this story from ground zero. He's going to join us in just a bit, but we have GP Sharma, the president of the Meteorology and Climate Change from SkyMet. We also have Mr. Puducherry, who's joining us, spokesperson of the AIADMK. Mr. Sharma, if I can come to you first, there is of course a warning that has been issued. Tidal waves about a meter high likely to flood low-lying areas. There's also a warning of power supply disruption, etc. But for viewers who are joining us at the moment, what would you like to tell them? What's your assessment of what we're likely to see in the next 24 hours?
Yes, you see, one thing good that we have sufficient notice. Still about 24 hours, more than 24 hours before the storm makes a landfall. So I expect the preparations to be in full swing because it's a severe cyclonic storm. I feel even it could be just a borderline case of even very severe cyclonic storm. As you said, winds are expected, yes, 120 kilometers per hour. That's almost a very severe cyclone storm category. Okay, and as it closes in, it is gathering strength. From cyclonic storm, it should become severe cyclonic storm anytime, tonight itself. Okay, and that's how we have winds and incessant rains. The combination of these two is phenomenal. It has got damaging potential.
Yes.
The two put together. So therefore, there is a need to exercise a lot of caution. All measures to be taken. You see, disruption in rail, road, air, I expect together.
Right.
Connectivity will be affected.
Okay.
Weak structures, kacha structure will collapse also.
Okay.
And the irony I feel is it is going to strike when it is a dark. Though the peripherals will reach before it makes a landfall, because obviously the center of the storm. But then we got to take care of that. It's going to be dark at that time. It becomes difficult to carry out operations.
Well, I think that's very crucial advice, and in fact the NDRF will also be holding a press conference shortly and we'll cut live. But let me first go across to my colleague Sam Daniel, who's been tracking this story from ground zero. Sam, where are you at the moment and what's the update that you have?
Rashika, we are at Puducherry. We are on our way to Kadalur, and in Puducherry, of course, now there is a respite, but all through our drive from Chennai, we have been experiencing heavy to very heavy rainfall. And just now, a few moments ago, we got an update from the Chennai Met Center that the Nivar cyclone is now turning into a very severe cyclonic storm. It's still around 430 kilometers southeast of Chennai. It's expected to turn into a very severe cyclonic storm and cross between Karaikal, Puducherry's Karaikal, and Tamil Nadu's Mamallapuram by tomorrow evening. And of course, the wind speeds could cross 120 kilometers per hour. That's what officials say.
Yes.
And as we speak now, the entire coastal Tamil Nadu is on very high alert. All the cyclone shelters have been activated. Hundreds of temporary relief centers have been opened up. These are largely schools. And as we speak, in the neighboring Kadalur district, at least close to 500 people have already been evacuated from low-lying areas. Officials also say, although they've been constantly asking people living in low-lying areas to move to cyclone shelters or relief shelters, there is reluctance because many are also quite confident that they live in tiled houses, unlike the earlier thatched roof houses, huts, and in situations like this, always they're also worried about their property. So at the moment, they say not many have come in, but as the rain gathers momentum, as it turns quite heavy, from tomorrow morning, authorities hope there'll be more people turning to these either cyclone shelters or the relief centers. They have place for at least 60,000 people in
Yes, and let's not
alone.
forget that this is a complicated operation at the moment because, even shifting people, evacuating people from low-lying areas in the midst of a pandemic can be very challenging. So there are a whole host of challenges. The government really does have its task cut out for itself. Stay on with us. We're going to come back to you, but I do want to understand what are the kind of preparations like. We have a spokesperson of the AIADMK joining us. Thank you so much, Mr. Pugazendi, for being with us. I want to begin by asking you, the Met Department has warned of possible damage, trees being uprooted, power disruption, communication lines being snapped, roofs being blown away. The tidal waves are likely to be about 1 meter high. There's expected to be flooding in low-lying areas. How complicated is the evacuation process at the moment? What are the extra measures that the government has taken, given the fact that all of this is happening in the midst of the pandemic?
Good evening to NDTV. Madam, you have taken all the precautionary steps, madam, the kind information. Because we have a lot of experience through that Gaja cyclone. Gaja cyclone heavily affected. Our chief reporter also knows what has happened in Tamil Nadu. Heavily, like the same rain that affected the people, and all we sorted out. That we have the experience I am mentioning here. Now our government has taken many precautionary measures, suspension the buses, and various districts like Puducherry, Nagai, Thanjai, Thiruvarur, Kadalur, Vilupuram, and Chengalpattu near the thing. Train service also cancelled. Government already declared tomorrow, so that helpline numbers are given through all the district collectors. 15 IAS officers debuted for this Nivar cyclone work. They are on the field now. So already
I'm afraid I'm going to have to interrupt you there. So we have a live press conference from the NDRF that's taking place. Let's step in and listen.
और पेराबालू डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स और 25 तारीख को ये एरिया बढ़ेगा और कडालूर से शुरू करके यहाँ पेराम्बलूर और कराईकल समेत सभी जिले में एक्सट्रीमली हेवी रेनफॉल हो सकता है। इसके साथ साथ तमिलनाडु के आसपास जो आंध्र प्रदेश है, इसमें 2 डिस्ट्रिक्ट स्पेशली नेल्लोर और चित्तूर, वहाँ भी हम एक्सट्रीमली हेवी रेनफॉल 25 तारीख को उम्मीद कर रहे हैं। 26 को रायलसीमा और साउथ ईस्टर्न पार्ट ऑफ तेलंगाना, वहाँ भी हम आइसोलेटेड प्लेसेस में एक्सट्रीमली हेवी रेनफॉल एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं। मगर ये सभी एरिया को देखें तो सबसे ज़्यादा वल्नरेबल जोन है जिसमें ज़्यादा बारिश होने का हम उम्मीद कर रहे हैं, वो है नॉर्थ तमिलनाडु डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स। आप हमारा जो इम्पैक्ट बेस्ड वार्निंग है, इसके हिसाब से हम रेड कलर वार्निंग हम दे रहे हैं 25 तारीख के लिए कोस्टल एंड नॉर्थ इंटीरियर तमिलनाडु एंड पुडुचेरी कराईकल एरिया के लिए, और 26 तारीख को हम रॉयल सीमा एरिया के लिए रेड कलर वार्निंग दे रहे हैं। ये डिस्ट्रिक्ट वाइज रेनफॉल वार्निंग है। इसमें जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट में ज़्यादा रेनफॉल का उम्मीद किया जा रहा है, ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट उम्मीद किया जा रहा है, वहाँ रेड कलर है, और इसका मतलब है वहाँ एक्सट्रीम हेवी रेनफॉल वार्निंग दिया गया है। और ऑरेंज कलर जहाँ है वहाँ हम हेवी टू वेरी हेवी रेनफॉल एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं। येलो कलर जहाँ है वहाँ हेवी रेनफॉल हम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं। जैसे आपको दिखाई दे रहा है, लेफ्ट हैंड साइड फिगर जो है वो 24th का एरिया है जहाँ हेवी टू एक्सट्रीमली हेवी रेनफॉल होगा, और राइट हैंड साइड फिगर 25th।
All right, so the NDRF there has issued a red alert for Cyclone Nivar. Extremely heavy rainfall is expected, especially in the North Tamil Nadu districts. That's where the red alert has been sounded for the 25th, which is tomorrow. We have both our guests still with us, but let me first go back to Sam. Sam, I don't know if you could hear the NDRF press conference. We just cut live to the press conference where they said that a red alert has been issued, especially for North Tamil Nadu. Sam, can you hear me?
Rishika, can you come again? I wasn't able to hear you fully.
Yes, Sam, the NDRF has said that a red alert has been issued and they are anticipating that the districts of North Tamil Nadu will be the worst affected.
That's right. That's the area which was also earlier officials had said could be largely impacted by the cyclone. In fact, we are right now heading to Kadalur, one of the northern districts of Tamil Nadu, Rishika. And here, as I told you earlier, authorities have kept ready relief centers and cyclone shelters which could accommodate a total of around 60,000 people. That's what they say. And so far, only around 500 people have come. These many centers, more than 100 relief centers have been kept ready only because they don't want to compromise on COVID safety. They want to make sure in all these centers people could still be able to follow physical distancing and these will not turn hotspots. And this is the case in other adjoining northern districts as well, like Nagapattinam and Perambalur or Tanjavur and other areas which come under this, which fall under the area this cyclone could actually impact. And as we speak now, it's again beginning to pour, and from this afternoon 1 o'clock,
yes,
the Tamil Nadu government has suspended bus services completely in those 7 districts and have asked people to remain indoors, not to go outside unless it's absolutely unavoidable. And they've also asked people to make sure they have enough stock of food, drinking water, batteries, and to rely only on mainstream media, not to get panicky saying or reading what they receive on social media. And
well,
the
I
main
think that's
concern
very
is the
crucial
kind
advice.
of damage this cyclone could.
Yes, I think that's very crucial advice. You have to rely only on official and reliable information, not panic at the moment. Travel, of course, has been restricted by the government. The government, they're advising people to stay in as much as is possible. And like you can see, it's already started raining in several parts. Heavy to extremely heavy rainfall is anticipated. There are evacuations that have taken place in low-lying areas. But, you know, we also have Mr. GP Sharma of SkyMet and Mr. Puducherry of the AIADMK with us. Mr. Puducherry, GP Sharma earlier made a very important point that, you know, we are likely to see the landfall happen when it's already dark. And that, you know, in a lot of ways makes the relief and rescue operation even more complicated. Is that something that you're prepared for?
That's why I already mentioned that all the collected, we have informed and ready, madam, all the marriage halls and other places, our reporter mentioned, everything is ready because a lot of experience we have. So that another thing is when cross this cyclone, that the Nivar cyclone when crash, then immediately we will be disconnected the electricity. First, then shifting purpose, we kept all the corporation, municipal people, workers and everyone is ready. 1.5 lakh pole, electrical pole,
yes,
we kept ready for replacement immediately.
Okay.
So, so this is the things are going on.
Okay.
People need not panic. No, not necessary. No problem. Tamil Nadu government is ready already. Our Honorable Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy and Revenue Minister R.B. Udaya Kumar and Mr. Thangamani, Electricity Minister, all are monitoring.
So the government of Tamil Nadu, they're appealing to people to stay calm, stay indoors. The government has made arrangements. It's going to be, you know, a tricky 24 hours. Heavy to extremely heavy rainfall is anticipated. Stay home, stay safe, and of course, rely only on official information. Mr. Sharma and Mr. Puducherry, we appreciate you very much for joining us. Sam Daniel is going to continue to track the details of this story from Ground Zero. Stay tuned to NDTV for all the latest.